So again, for anybody in the world that is going through tragedies, there's going to be uproars here and there, and it's not like, oh, we have a center here. It's all over the world. It's the energy increases creating havoc, and in a sense, we during this time, the message here is just to bind together. Feel from your heart and let go of labels. And I cannot sit in a room with the news on. I have to leave. It is against everything that I feel in my heart. And that is really another conflict as well, is there's a lot of inner turmoil that we are trying to balance out within our body, and everything outside of us is contradictory to that. So we need to really key in more, isolate a little bit to understand what is it we're feeling, what is it we're doing, and then go outward and share that, because the next person, I can guarantee you, is going through something similar. So for the second video, for the eclipse energies, and I'm saying eclipse energies, but really these energies have been mutating since 2012, December. They've really been on a slow scale building speed, and over this eclipse, it's almost like there's been a jolt of energy infused, like we got to get them up above here. And that's kind of creating the chaos that we're having. There's people are falling away and not dealing with it properly, but we got to increase that energy, because it's going to be more chaotic if we don't have these little bursts in between. These solar eclipses, the equinoxes, these are the energies where they kind of go up a little more than normal. That's the Earth's opportunity to get that energy in there. It's that window of time where they can do that. And the rest of the year we have to kind of, pull back, release. And really what they were showing me in an energy graph, the way the energy is going to come out, and the way it's come out in me, it's going to affect everybody individually. But the way that it's come out in me, and this may help some as well, is that I will get an infusement of energy. So literally my brain, I'm not good for anything. Calculations, like what? I can't calculate mathematics, things that, are in your daily log. You can't access words. You can't get words, like you feel like an idiot because you're using like such simple words from grade 2 that you can't. And so I have a week, 4 days of that where my brain kind of feels fuzzy. I feel fuzzy. I almost feel like I'm not grounded. Almost feel I am ungrounded. And a lot of, you can, for those that are highly attuned, you can really just feel, it's like a waterfall of energy just going through your brain, like a huge brain fog. And then I'll have a period of time where I literally am clumsy, misjudging space and time. I could sit for 10 minutes and suddenly I look, it's 2 hours. And it's like, whoa, where'd the 2 hours go? Then I'll have instances where I will go to put a cup on a shelf, and I've done it how many times? You put a cup on the counter and suddenly it drops on the floor and you missed it by about that much. So space and time hiccups where suddenly you're misjudging, you run into walls. I've done this, not being able to pick up things. So I have a period of time where I'm dealing with those kind of klutzy things. And then after that, I'll have extreme fatigue, tiredness, where I literally cannot. I'll get up and start my day, and not even an hour in, I'm dragging my butt back to bed to get rest. It's just like, and the Spirit's going, just give in. Don't push through it, because it just builds. It builds to more complications. So we want to, as much as we can, indulge in that rest that we feel we need. If you can, do it. Get that rest. You just have to. They're going, you have to indulge in it. Whether it's a sick day or whatever, you need to recuperate the body, because it really is trying to help you balance those energies efficiently. So when our body rests, then all of the fluctuations within the body itself, it has an easier time. There's no resistance. Right? Because when you're awake and moving, it's like, no, I got to do this, I got to do that. When you're at rest, then the fluctuations can just do what they want to do. And you may rest good or you may not rest, but your body needs to be still and you need to be relaxed. So going through this time and dealing with those things are part of the process. And okay, so after I get the heavy fatigue, after that, then I come back up on the upswing. So I'm back on the upswing and I start to feel better, because during the time of sleepiness and in between, you can have literally times where you're crying at nothing, like literally nothing. You know, sometimes it's like, oh, you get a commercial that's kind of heartwarming. It's like, no, you'd be puppies and kitties will be playing and you'd be crying, you know. And so you just, that's flushing of the emotions that we need to get rid of. We just need to get rid of that. So we need to indulge in that as well. Indulge in the sleep, indulge in the emotionalism. Do that, get rid of it. And then after, so it seems like in this last while, and it's, again, it's going to be different for everybody. Seems like there's approximately a 2 to 3 week period where all of this process kind of, this wave comes through, and then you're back on your feet again by the end of the 3rd week, and you're trudging along. So that's really what's going on here. So yeah, and I've had a few waves of these more intense over this last, you know, I would say since probably summer of last year. Within the last year, I've found that these waves are becoming, and then of course the eclipse, but I've felt a steady, strong increase in them over that time from the eclipse, but nothing out of balance that wasn't coming all along. And again, people are going to feel it to differing degrees. But just really the highlight here is to support those people with mental, emotional problems. They're showing me hospitals. So if you're a volunteer, even working in the health field, be aware of that. Just the acknowledgement of it will make it easier for you to take. If you're not acknowledged with it, and talk outward about it, say, you know, there's a shift here. It's kind of like full moon energy with nurses. They know this. It's kind of like the full moon energy, but it's going to be over a longer stretch of time here, and the waves are going to be, you know, it's not just one day. We're talking about weeks at a time, and then it will calm down, you know, and then a couple of weeks, and then it'll calm down, you know, where it hits. And we're going to find people too that are sick, are going to have a decreased or increased ability to deal with these things. So it all just depends on how your body is going to digest that frequency shift, how sensitive you are to those energies at that time. You know, if you have an elderly person with a strong energy source, they may handle it better than a young person with a weaker immune system. Anything, you know, can happen. So take that into account. There are absolutely things that, and not only can they be toxic things that are infused, but they can be things that during this energy flux time actually affect the body at a higher rate than normally what we're used to. And you're going to find a lot of that too. People with allergies never had allergies. Things are going to be in such flux, it's just really going to be chaos. The hospitals are going to be a little more overrun with these kind of disturbances, allergies, abnormalities, things happening out of the blue that there's no history of. And this is why, this is the energy flux is kind of opening a window. It's like giving you immunity and then taking it away and having none. So there's a certain period of time where this toxicity can really double up on itself. But they're going, yeah, this is what can happen. So we just really have to take care of ourselves, our bodies, our minds, and stick together. Love and compassion, go there. If you have, like, literally toxic people, we need to, you know, you don't have to start cutting people out of your life, but what you need to do is gravitate towards the love. That's it. That's what they're really saying here. They're stating, gravitate towards the love, give the love when it's needed. You'll feel highly guided to do so. It will be very easy. Even if you're not a lovey type person, you will at some moments just be there at the right time in the right moment and go, oh wow, like, I'm glad I was here. I've never felt that before. These are a lot of things that are advancing, right? So that deeper connection can happen, and so we can really, as a unit, as a whole world, and that's what I'm saying, as a whole world, each individual is going to connect on deeper levels to more meaningful things. This is just symptom of the vibration increase. key thing here to keep peace of mind is really absolutely getting rid of the media, the news, television. They're going as a whole, just having it on and blaring at you, nothing. There's a symptom there that can come from that. An unrest, a mixing of the mind that happens that takes us a while to recuperate. And a lot of people are in front of these screens daily and are not getting any rest. Not enough to recuperate to where they were before. So it's just a degradation that is continuing. And this is, this is the collapse of the internal system. It affects your DNA. It affects how every soul in your body works. So we need to be aware. And, even if we cut down the TV to half and then keep cutting from there, you will notice a difference. So you need to detach from that and awaken from that and just really give your body a chance to decompress from all of the technological advances. The news media is really there to frustrate you and anger you and get all those rage out in you. So we need to veer away from that. That's really there to create rage and to create the separation that they want. And through separation, they can control. If we unite, they can't. So that's really what it's about, okay? So we need to stay away from being led down a path here in the wrong way. We just need to really, come back, relax, get away from all the toxicity, like I said, emotionally, technologically, mentally. And for those who are, because I can almost guarantee if you're not carrying a mental health problem, the news media could create one just by being. But nonetheless, just have some compassion, self-compassion, and also if you are someone who suffers and is tending to isolate, reach out. There are people everywhere, in every little corner, every little crevice. You have no idea. There's a lot of people that are not talking, so you look to 2-3 people beside you, one of them has got what you got, or can understand what you got, or can empathize with what you got, or can help you to an immense degree. We just don't look to our fellow man and go, hey, how are you doing today? A lot of us, we just are numbing forward. And we need to reach out because the answers are all there. They're all there. The keys are there. And we're under the illusion that they're not, that we can't do anything, all the frustration. That is all an illusion. We need to key back in and really reach out to the, all these places that we're told not to. Over this time, just try and come from a place of compassion, love, compassion. That's it. They're really pumping that up. And if you cannot feel love or you are angered, then you have to start working on the toxicities in your life, reducing those to a point where you can become peaceful within your own self. And then do that and then go outward from that. If you are in anger, resentment, and all of that, then go inside, reduce the toxicity you have coming at you, and then slowly build up from there. Get your rest and rejuvenate. The people that have got a lot of these things like toxic food, toxic outside sources, coming in, dialogue outside of you, whether it's from your friends, from the media, from whatever. Try and keep it light and then work from there and give your mind a break an hour before you try and go to bed. You need to disconnect from media. They're going anything that's plugged in, really. Disconnect from there and give yourself that hour. So hopefully this helps people over their path here. Like I said, I've been going through a lot of fluxes myself, and I know that all the intuitives out there are going through similar, some may be completely different. There's just so many, so different. And, and they're showing me at different times as well. You can't throw everybody into upheaval at once, right? So it depends on, they're going kind of like when you were born. Through that horoscope cycle depends on, how the energy is blown outward. So whatever that means. So throughout this time, take care and talk to your fellow man. Is really the communication is key here. and not in and like I said, if you're not feeling in peace, get to a place where you can feel in peace. Disconnect from a lot of the toxicity. And I mean, there is a absolute danger of getting the wrong information, but if you use your instinct and your guided intuition, you will come across the right levels for you. I mean, it will just come. All you have to do is really hope for it, and it will be there for you. So we really have to get used to a universe that really serves us like that, and we're really programmed to not. So this is kind of another training. Maybe that's the next version's coming out here. But this is another step in transitioning through the energy shift, is that do you ever notice that people are getting payback a lot quicker? Karma is hitting them. I'm saying karma, fate, whatever. But like I've noticed too over this time that, you know, people, it's like sometimes you have someone that does wrong and they continue to do wrong, and it's like, you know, they just don't seem to get justice, and then suddenly you are even may even be witness to this, that someone gets justice. Like they get what they deserve, and seeing the universe put out that balance in an instant. And I'm saying instant, but compared to where we were, because where we were before, there was no acknowledgement, because it happened over like 10 years before this person got their dues. You know, somebody did bad, and then 10 years later they pay for it. Well, they've forgotten what they did bad. You know, like how is that justice? You know, but that was the energy, the vibration they were dealing with then. Now the vibration is increasing, so we can manifest this a lot quicker. And also our manifesting abilities, you know. And that's another thing, is the negative influence of the mind, creating negative things in the world. And that's coming a lot quicker, so we're seeing the parallels better. There's just so many changes. I could go on and on forever. So, you know, a lot of energies that people need to think about and be aware of. And then another thing too is, if anyone has any questions or anything, feel free to contact me. If not, contact someone you know who, you know, everybody's got this intuitive sense. Use it. Anybody who you feel you can talk to about it, go in that direction. Yeah, because it will absolutely alleviate more than you realize it possibly can. I think really what's going to happen is these people that are just on overdrive, going forward, bulldozing and not looking, these are the people that are going to be most adversely affected by this energy, because they really have to be aware. So if you're on autopilot, you kind of have to get off that and start taking controls here and being aware, because it's really, yeah, the universe is really throwing things in the path. We cannot go on autopilot. Another thing they're showing me too is the obsessive compulsive side of things. They're bringing that up for those people that are really in a line of duty within that. Like they're showing people like housewives, people that are homebodies, that have their list of things to check off in a day. Those things are going to be disrupted. So that is going to be one area that is really going to be frustrating for those in that particular genre, because they're really needing you to let go of that control that you have to do all those things, and that consecutive that needs to be let go of in order to increase your vibration. And the wanting to hang on to that is going to create a problem. So be aware of that as well, because yeah, there's things that need to be done, and we need to prioritize. And even though those priorities are in line, some of those are not life-threatening. They're not life-threatening. We need to deal with the things that are of most importance. And again, inner guidance will be given. But I feel like in these areas of obsessive-compulsive disorders, there's going to be a lot of fighting in that way, internal struggle, and not wanting to let go of things, but there's going to be juts in your path, like elements coming in to absolutely get rid of that. So be aware that if you're fighting to end that, it's not going to end until you release from that. Because what needs to go here is that inability to be flexible on these things. It's really going to be frustrating if you hang on. So if you know that that's something you got to loosen up, do it in steps. Absolutely, there will be time for that, and let that go. That is one of the more frustrating things that will be happening in this next time. And they're showing over Christmas as being a hard time as well for that. Obsessive compulsive, I just brought that up. So I don't know. Control issues, these kinds of things. Things that need to be taken control of, you're going to have to absolutely release that. There are priorities, but the universe says for the most part we're not aligned with where the universe feels is important. So loosen up and try. These are, I feel really bad saying that, loosen up, but instinctively there's going to be a struggle. There's going to be a fight. It's like your instincts going, no, we need to let that go. And then your routine is going, no, we need to put this in play. So there's something there that needs to crack open. Almost like they're showing me an egg cracking open. So, and I mean, I'm saying this like it's an easy thing to do. It's going to be very hard. Because these, like I said, these mental disorders, all of these things are going to be in flux. But the other side of it is better than where we were. And it continues to do so over the next 6 years. So, and some people may not even think they fit into that category, but they will find out that they will have frustrations in there nonetheless, and they will be learning to deal with that as it goes. There's going to be shifts that cracks. They're going shifts, cracks in the uniformity of the way things are going. So if you're, like I said, if you're one of those people that are kind of on autopilot, this is where things are going to get a little bumpy. And you're going to have to take controls and adjust, make adjustments at that time. So beware of that. I also really want to mention about the tragedies in the world in the States. My sorrow for that. Okay, sorry. I had to take a bit of a break there. Getting a lot of empathy. The tragedies in the States. I just want to bring respect to that. This is a time where the universe really has to bear together, and when we have leaders that run countries that are trying to separate, it's very frustrating to keep people together, but it's like the universe is tugging against that. It's really counterbalancing. The universal energy is trying to counterbalance the separateness. And the universe will not fail this time. They will not fail. It's not in the path. So the more that we stick together, the better off we're going to be through all of this. The less you think about labels. Drop the labels of anything, whether it's race, religion, sexuality. People are people. I keep saying that. And we're all connected. And though we know this in the spiritual community, I think we just need to relax on that. Not stress on it, but that's the guide, right? That's the guide. People are people. People just keep moving. Just keep going forward. Don't look back. And don't look at those people. Don't pay attention to those people that are trying to segregate, that are trying to separate. We just need to stick together in a grouping of one whole unit. And I think over this time, as tragic as it is, that is kind of some of the lessons that are sweeping through North America, the rest of the world. They're really having a deeper yearning to connect rather than to disconnect. There's a deeper pull to go in that direction. So, sorry, I gotta get through this. So I want to emphasize that, because I think part of the world, I'm not American, I'm Canadian. I may be a bit naive in my viewings. As I was just shown, I have a tendency to stay right away from the media. I do not watch the news. I actually can't really stomach it anymore. There's a lot of falsity and just a big illusion through the networks. There's a lot of toxicity in the environment that we've been conditioned to really accept. that is built in our bodies to come out in ways that we're just learning. We're just coming to deal with this at this point. So beyond all the things you can do and are aware of, there are a lot of hidden areas as well, hidden dangers. In the future, as we move on here, things, the emotions and the feelings and the frustrations are going to come to a peak. And just after that peaks, and what you're going to find in the news media is a lot more frantic chaos. Okay, a lot more people never had violent outbursts in the past. Suddenly they're going ape shit. They're going nuts. And these truly are toxicity building in the body to a degree that it goes outward. And I can't even translate what they're showing me, but basically it's all of the outside world attacking the cellular body with things that it's just not meant to withstand. So then it just kind of, in a sense, implodes, explodes, and these things in an emotional manner. And this is why it is somewhat hidden, because physically, yes, we can record that, but emotionally it's harder and more underground to detect. Well, they got an emotional problem. Well, that's their problem. But in a sense, no, there's a lot of toxicity going on with